Let's see it. Got
TikTok account for the podcast.
Oh, okay.
I made a little trailer for the first episode. I'm gonna
But
make.
before you came over to the States,
Yes.
you went to this doctor,
Lord.
Yes.
and he evaluated you.
Yes.
You came over.
Yes.
The doctor, I'll ask a few questions. Was he of the area?
I had to go to the doctor in Holland. Not
So
here.
he was Dutch?
Yes.
Okay, so he stayed there.
Yes.
Ever think that he was helping getting you the hell out?
No.
Maybe
Because all he did was work for the American consulate, so for the American
Right.
government.
To ship the weirdos out of his.
No. Because
I noticed you paused there and thought
the-
for a split
if the
second.
American-
You did stop.
if the American government would have found out or thought
It
to
was
themselves,
his job to make sure they didn't find out and just ship you over as quick as possible. He is A-OK, take him.
okay, but I've been here now 20 years.
Red phone gets
19.
picked up, sir, he's out. We're done with him.
19 years in this country. So somebody from the American government already should have figured out that if I was not normal, that I
Well,
was
we've
not
had
normal.
a few things going on the past few years that
Like
they've been
what?
a little occupied. I
Like
mean,
what? Like that?
Someone woke her up. Say you woke her up.
But then again, yes, sir, I keep saying this and nobody likes to hear it, believe it, or whatever. I didn't come over to America to be in America. I came over to be with my wife and the kids. So, and
Good
maybe
for
that
you.
doctor thought to himself
So then
too.
I think next
Maybe
weekend you could take your nap and be up with your wife and the kids then.
for what? Cemetery cleanup day?
Yes.
I could have.
You can, because it hasn't happened yet.
I
Not
ca-
could've.
I
You
can.
You can.
I can.
Take a participation. Will you
But I
Do
probably
you know where Greenwood Furnace State Park is?
Yes, just up and over.
we went there. We went there.
Yes, we did. I want to go back.
Yeah.
Okay. The one you talked to?
Yes.
Oh, well, when is this?
17th.
Is that June?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
up
know.
to
I
you.
might go.
You've been there before, actually.
I have.
My wife and I, we've been there too. Did you get a sticker?
The,
There's in,
that is the
Pennsy-
only thing. That is how she gets you out in the wild. Is the shiny things.
in Pennsylvania.
Exactly.
There's a
Yes.
Pennsylvania state park passport.
I did not know this. No, I
So there's a passport for the
Where do you
for the
get
state
it?
park. You can order it online. You can go to one of the state parks office
okay.
and get one. Yeah. So every time you visit the state park, you go to the office. There's a sticker
Anyways,
or
I've
a
been there
stamp, and you
before.
put it in your book. So later on, when you're 83, you can go through it. We've been there.
Well, it won't take me till I'm 83.
So I've
but-
been there before.
Yes, Greenwood Furnace. You go up past Belleville. I don't know if you're going to remember the actual trip, but the beach that we went to, you guys were on the smaller size. It looks like a small lake. There's sand. There's pine trees on the back side of it that you can see immediately. It's very close proximity to everything. The water's very cold most of the time because it's right off the springs. And there's a path off to the right side that you can like walk through. I don't know, like this wildflower area. You don't remember any of it.
Nope.
On the left side is where the dam is that holds the water back that you can kind of like walk across that, and some people fish off of it. It's very, very small.
Maybe. It
You
might.
guys should go to Ohio Pile. State
I'm
Park.
not going to Ohio.
It's close. No, Ohio Pile is up close to Erie, or towards Erie.
Jessie has been talking about wanting to go up to Erie. That's where she's from.
Oh yeah, to go swimming.
You should.
I want to go race town.
Yeah, but there's a monster in Lake Erie.
I only
Yeah.
nibble. I don't bite a lot.
That's what
Missouri
that is.
Stone Ray.
It's a little book.
Oh, it's just like a spiral. Okay.
Yeah, and it's got all the state parks and whatnot in it.
Oh, okay. I might actually have to look that up. No, he's told me about that before a couple of times. Before he said anything, I never knew that the state did something like that.
We didn't
See?
either.
That's
We
what you
were-
get when you have a brain. You can educate people.
Anyways, our episode. What are we doing today, Dad?
Yes. Like you didn't know and Nick didn't know that the coroner is being elected.
You don't need to
Yes.
talk about this again. We're doing the episode.
What is this episode about, sir, please?
Actually, we should probably discuss Nick's absence first. Nick has been kidnapped by midgets. You guys took this too seriously. We have sent out a search party in the woods. We currently cannot find him, but we hope he shall return soon.
So, Jay, do you have any connections with Bigfoot? So maybe you can send him a message so Bigfoot can help look for him.
You know, I was just about to talk down out of this, and now I want to go back to using that river right now.
So, don't tell me the episode is about Bigfoot that I saw a book here.
No, that
Written
is
by
for
Stan Gordon.
He actually plays a reference to what we are going to talk about today, yes.
Okay. What about the UFOs in Bedford
Yes.
County? Very
What?
cool. Yeah, there's a UFO sighting in Bedford County. A car was lifted up 3 feet off the ground and close to Bellwood. So, one of the first pages in the book.
She was browsing through it when I was talking to her.
I know, because he showed it to me and looked at me weird.
Yeah, because I don't believe in that stuff. Sorry.
Then why'd you read it?
I was just
That's me, and I
curious.
sent it to you.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, the episode is about.
We will get to what the episode is about.
We should have started this an hour ago.
Sorry for the delay. Thank you for joining us back. Yes, Nick is not here today. He had an emergency, so he is unfortunately not with us today. So it is just me, Dakota, and Robin's wife is here joining us today. So
That would be me.
help keep him in line.
You
What is her
can.
name?
You still got a chance to leave.
Patience and tolerance. That's her name.
I'm not that hard to live with. I keep saying that, and everybody thinks I am, but
Prove
I'm
it.
not. I got my little perks and
On the plus side, since we've had a big hiatus without recording, I've been looking on YouTube and Spotify, and we are actually gaining, surprisingly, a little bit more traction than I thought we were going to.
We are?
Spotify was not moving much at all, but thank you to everyone and anyone who has been listening to us out there. We actually have quite a few now listening on Spotify.
You know, Emmy has been listening to our full podcast episodes because she told me the other day she listened to the full episode while she was doing schoolwork.
Yeah, well, she's been listening on YouTube. She told me she pulls it up on YouTube.
she was
so I'm
listening
like, that
while
means-
doing something because I
Right.
FaceTimed her and she's like, I was listening to you guys just now.
No, I found those ones, and like YouTube was the only one moving, but then what was it?
I know, I finally followed us on YouTube.
so if you
and
listen to
Spotify.
us, go on one of the platforms and let us know who you
What you like, what you don't like.
Leave comments, don't be afraid.
who makes more sense,
You don't want to know.
We
those
already know the
answers.
answer.
who you side with, you know.
Yeah, I already have 4 more plays on our first episode for 7 Gates of Hell. There's 2 more plays on Missing 411 for part 1. So yeah, we've actually
What about
got
the urban legend one?
the Urban Legend one. Oh, wrong button. I think that one was the same that I just recently saw. Yeah, that's still the same level it
Oh.
was. It has views, it has listens, but it
Oh.
didn't go up like the other one. The other ones had just a couple just the other day, and now they've gotten a few more. So, yes, you can find us on YouTube, you can find us on Spotify, you can go to the website, whichever one's more convenient to you.
We have a TikTok now if you want to see little sneak peek things that I'm posting.
Yes, we will try to get those, and I have the Instagram. We need to post more on there on the Instagram site.
Yeah.
What about X?
I'm not doing X. I'm not.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
I am, but I'm not. I don't have time for it. It's
If
not
you
that I
want-
wouldn't. I don't. We don't have a big enough staff. You figure for just posting to Spotify and to YouTube, just those channels, and then you pick up the post to go post on the website. That's 2 people trying to handle 3 just projecting the show. Now post on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and now you want to do X. Each one of those posts, even if you do the same exact post to all of them, it's going to take 10 minutes to each one to post.
You can automate it all, sir.
Do you want me to post the TikTok videos on Instagram as well?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yes, because they can be real.
I still only have the one. I have not had time with keystones and stuff.
It's fine.
Biology fucking sucks.
All right.
Yes.
Today's episode. Have the screen today. It is not just for decoration. We're actually going
it's for
to.
decoration.
I've been on our time that we've been gone. I have figured a lot of this stuff out, and I figured how to back screen for what we talked about before to do React videos.
Okay. And did you
Shut it! I'm explaining it.
did you make sure that it's recording the sound now? Okay.
Oh, yeah, I apologize.
Okay.
Yes, no.
Okay.
I've already done it 3 times to double check that we were recording. That way it doesn't just do that. Yes, for anybody listening, we had an episode recorded before.
It was a really nice
It was an
episode where we
interesting
were
episode.
talking about our fears and stuff, and it did not record the audio.
Yes.
And what, we had to re-record the last episode?
Yes, we ended up having
Yeah,
to re-record.
we
so.
re-record 411 Part 2.
So, but today, I'm not going to tell you the title.
I already know what it is.
Well, he doesn't.
It doesn't mean I can't see it. I
You
want
could
to see
just
what
be
you
basic.
crossed out.
Well, it's how I have it set up. I didn't
lazy.
just retype this whole paper. I didn't like how it was worded, so I changed
Let
my
me
word.
read shit.
No, I'm going to read
Ugh.
it. You listen. It's a story.
You
So,
know, there's a song called Story.
oh my god. It is located in a heavily wooded area along PA Route 982. Are you going to sleep already? Wake up! This community is located with the Allegheny Mountains.
What?
Make sure you're not going to sleep. Kecksburg is a community in Mount Pleasant Township in Westmoreland County, Pennsylvania. In 1965, the Kecksburg UFO incident would occur here. This is when a fireball was reported by citizens of 6 U.S. states and Canada to have streaked across the sky and crashed or landed in southwestern PA. What landed or crashed is a mystery. Now,
That picture looks like AI.
it's not AI. That's actually someone, I didn't put their name on it, but that's someone's legit painting that they did of it. Yes.
Cool.
That is not AI. This was before AI.
Movie.
This was in the beginning.
This is
People
the
didn't
guy that
have
uses AI on every Instagram post.
Not all the time.
Half the time, you have like the fucking shirtless guy standing there.
What are you? What is that? Is that fruit juicy
It's
yours?
my fruit punch.
Let it sit out, did you?
Oh, I got some on my sock.
For our listeners and for you, because you always like knowing of where I got my information from and whatnot. YouTube, Small Town Monsters, is a production company that they literally started off like how we do, but they did a lot of films and whatnot. Now they have like an entire team. They have an entire series dedicated to what is known as the Chestnut Ridge, and that's what's going to incorporate into this a little bit. And they do cover the Kecksburg Crash a little bit. It is, you probably would like it if you watched any of their shows, whether it would be like Bigfoot, Exploration, Dogman, UFO, anything, because half of the group on there is very to the point, did this really happen, show me black and white, and they're ready to write it off. Which, I mean, you want like the very objective opinion going into it.
The problem I have with those episodes, those things, used to be on TV, you know, finding Hitler, that he would have moved to Argentina, right?
Right.
There was a TV show about it.
Yes, I know.
Okay. There was 2 seasons. At the end, nothing.
No,
No proof, no
that's
nothing.
why I said
it's
you-
just making content.
No, that's why I
Yes.
said you would like these guys. They come to a conclusion. They actually, whether it was found or unfound, it is black and white at the end of every episode.
Okay.
Like, no, that's why I say you, whether you want to watch them or not, that is completely up to you. But I'm just telling you, this is where I got a lot of my information from. Helped me along. I did do some more research. Will you stop? This is why I quit printing them out, because then you guys are just reading ahead. That's why I stopped.
All you're talking about is the mountains anyways.
But but
I'll
you would
read
probably...
a fan fiction then while you're talking.
Then what's the point?
You're talking about some source,
Oh my
so go ahead, continue.
But you would enjoy it, I think.
Okay.
It's very objective.
What?
Well,
No, it is. It's not. It is what you want. In my opinion, Small Town Monsters, and if they ever hear this, I'm sorry, I watch you guys all the time. They do not get enough credit or enough funding like they should. Because what you see on Travel Channel, Discovery Channel, History Channel, those guys could go to Small Town Monsters and go learn a thing or two. Because they go find experts, they talk to a witness, and then they even decide, is that witness credible? Does that story even have weight for this discussion? Or is this just filler? And if it's just filler, then there's no point. Because eventually a lot of their exploration that they did was getting, like, they were talking about one, and they started noticing that it was drifting into different, like, rabbit holes, I guess you could say. So then that gets its own story here. This gets its own story. And now there's different... But a lot of researchers that started off together are now still through Small Town Monsters, and it's all produced the same. But now I'm covering just this, I'm covering this, and I'm covering that. That way it's not getting diluted.
okay, but in my opinion, something like that, you know, like the UFO crash, yeah, it shouldn't lead you to another rabbit hole. You
Why
know what
not?
I'm... Then you're just looking for something. Just to, in my opinion, to make content. If you just, you know what I mean? It doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, excuse me.
Bless you. It doesn't make sense to me. Like now this
No,
too.
you need to take medicine.
Like now this too. Just what you said. Yes?
Right.
Probably, you know, part of a satellite coming down, burning to the atmosphere.
Oh, we'll get to that.
I mean,
No, we'll get to
it's just
that.
because NASA says it doesn't happen or didn't happen.
No.
I mean,
Well,
come on.
No, we'll
You
get
know,
to that.
but, you know. I
think you need to watch one first
Just-
before,
this
because
is-
you are used to seeing the other ones.
This
that
is
they're-
my mind,
negativity.
my brain working. It's not negativity, it's just,
It's negativity.
no,
Yes, it is.
no, it's sunny outside. Yeah, that's positive
Good.
thing. That's
You
positive
need
thing.
some light. You need some sunshine. Help you grow. Gain on that extra 60 pounds you need.
That's what I don't understand either. I'm from the Netherlands, yes,
Yes.
and on average, Dutch
You say
people,
that like you don't know where you're from.
people, and people, Dutch people are the tallest people in the world. So I don't know where I came from then.
Clearly.
A hobbit hole.
Must be.
Don't insult me.
But now I know why the Dutch people are so the tallest in the world, because
Maybe
they have
a
to look over the
dwarf.
dike, see if the water is coming.
I like dwarves.
Well, I like hobbits.
Those are midgets.
They're
You said
dwarves.
earlier that midgets aren't real!
No, so they're all not real.
Oh.
Make up your mind!
No, just they
Alright.
aren't real. Yes, go ahead.
So where this crash happened was a part of the Allegheny Mountains. So, I have a little bit of backstory for the mountains. Reason being is, unfortunately for you, for your statement you just gave, there is a rabbit hole connection here. So, sorry
Like
to burst
Alice in
your bubble.
Wonderland, go down the rabbit hole.
Yes, go down the rabbit hole a little bit. So, unfortunately for you, that's how this is going to roll. So, the Allegheny Mountain Range is part of the vast Appalachian mountain range of the eastern United States and Canada. Historically, it represented a significant barrier to westward land travel and development. The Alleghenies comprise the rugged western central portion of the Appalachians. They rise 4,862 feet in the northeastern West Virginia. In the east, they are dominated by high, steep escarpment known as the Allegheny Front. Now, there's a bunch of information in here about like where the plateau goes and all this and that, but I won't cover it. The oldest mountain ranges in the U.S. Now, I do have a list of them. I won't go down all of them. There is one that recently, I think in my research I found like up 3 or 4 years ago, they tried to bring up that in North Carolina, they think that might be one of the oldest in the United States. but they can't be 100% sure. They're really thinking that that's just somebody like trying to take the title. But starting with the youngest, we have the Sierra Nevada Mountains at 40 million years old. The Alaska Range is 60 million years old. The Rocky Mountains is 80 million years old. The Great Smoky Mountains is between 200 and 300 million years old. The Appalachian... Oh, you haven't... Oh, okay. There's a spot for you to fill your stamp book. The Appalachian Mountains, which we're going to talk about today, is 480 million years old. The one in North Carolina, I think that one was bouncing between like the 200, 300 million year old mark. They were just saying, I think they did like a soil sample or something. That's where they were trying to prove that it was like older than the Appalachians. But I'm like, it's old, but I think they're just trying to run for the title then. I'm like, not trying to pick on them or anything, but I'm like, whichever one's oldest is oldest. Now, the rabbit hole that I was talking about is for how old this is. Remember that continents change, shift over all of that time.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, the Scottish Highlands and the Appalachian Mountains are a part of the exact same mountain range.
I know.
The geological similarities between these two regions are due to tectonic plate movements that occurred millions of years ago when the continents were joined together.
Yeah, that's that whole Pangea thing, right?
Right.
They're still moving.
Right, still moving. So Appalachian folklore encompasses the traditional beliefs, stories, customs, and practices that have developed within the Appalachian region of the United States. It's a vibrant and intricate tapestry of stories, beliefs, traditions that have been passed down through generations. The folklore combines signs, superstitions, omens, music, stories, beliefs, and has been preserved orally over the years. Appalachian folk tales are rich in history, culture, and tradition, and are filled with ghosts, witches, and haunted hollers. All the things you just love and enjoy.
That was a deep
So
sigh.
because there's going to be a couple of episodes that we're going to cover that is literally going to be a link between one or the other. And it is, when you go down the rabbit hole, a lot of the traditions, folklore, and just the mystery, yes, tied to that.
Yeah, but the further you go in that rabbit hole,
The more truth you will find, I know. You're just so
Sure.
excited about it.
Sure.
What now?
We have fairies in Appalachia.
Fairies.
So, yes, they have them over in Scotland and over in Ireland.
I know, but
They have no buts, no
No.
buts. There is no buts.
Fairies are real, don't you dare.
Many of the stories, the witches, the whistling you hear in the woods, many people who are over there in Scotland can literally share the same stories and
I know I get
traditions.
that. I get that because if
But-
you see the map,
But
it will fit Europe and America will fit. Don't want to say perfectly, but
when you like reconnect them, yes.
It
You can see like where the
Yeah.
lines in the puzzle.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
they're a little
yes.
worn, but
so
yes.
they were connected to each other at one point. Yes.
Right.
So that there's
But
connections between those.
just say it. I know you
People,
want to say it.
yes.
You keep pausing for but.
No buts.
No
so
buts?
when there's connections between those people, yes, or cultures, yes, I understand.
Okay.
That makes sense to me.
So, this is our Allegheny Mountains, the Appalachians, all this through here. This here is where we're going to talk about today. The Allegheny Mountains. The Chestnut Ridge gets incorporated into this, and like I said, Small Town Monsters has a series going on about the Chestnut Ridge. There's more things about that area that I would like to cover on a future episode, but we're just going to cover one of them. We're going to dip our toe into this a little bit. The Chestnut Ridge is the westernmost ridge of the Allegheny Mountains in Pennsylvania, so right up in this area here. It is located primarily within the Laurel Highlands region of southwestern Pennsylvania, extending into northern West Virginia. The Chestnut Ridge people take their name from this region from when they first settled the area. It was literally covered thick as grass with chestnut trees. There are very few now left. There is next to just a handful left because they all got harvested off. And if I remember, I think they had a disease come through too that killed a lot of them down. So that's where we're located. Now, Roswell, New Mexico may have staked its claim as America's mecca for UFO buffs. But the small town of Kecksburg in rural West Pennsylvania has its own claim to the title. Kecksburg may have experienced the crash of an extraterrestrial craft over 60 years ago this year, and subsequently been a part of a long-term government cover-up. And I can see your enthusiasm is just bubbling. It is
Oh
so
yes, I'm
exciting.
excited. I'm really
So-
Oh, Kecksburg. Okay, I
Yes.
thought you said Kecksburg.
No,
but it's
Kecks. This is why it has slide specifically for you. Here, let's
You see. And I
Dakota, close, pull this
You're
curtain.
gonna have to give me a
That
second. I'm
perfect.
timed right now.
That's it.
And please let me know if you're listening to this. Let me know if he mumbles or not, because I really do believe he mumbles sometimes, so I can't hear him. So yes, go ahead.
If I mumble, go ahead, tell me. So, this is Pittsburgh. Down here's Kecksburg. We should take a trip so we can see the location. There's not much there currently, but we can see it for you. Get your hands on it. You can touch the area, witness it.
Road trip.
Yeah, but then
No buts.
you guys think that I'm a nutcase. I mean, those people who actually
We'll
believe
do a
this
meet
stuff.
and greet there.
They hired me as mayor. I'm gonna be the new governor of that area.
Okay, we're not. Well, yeah, this was the headline that was in the paper. I tried reading it. All it does is do a rough outline. I mean, if you want to try to like read some of it, you can. That's completely you. All of these photos I will be putting on the Instagram page. That way everybody can see it. So we're gonna go down what happened. I have pictures in here moving forward for you to look at, both of what they claim it was, the direction it came, the whole 9 yards. So, on the night of December 9th, 1965, residents of Canada, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania witnessed what they described as, quote, a fireball that seemed to be under, quote, intelligent control. What?
We said fireball.
Oh my god.
It reminds me of that one thing at the Rothrock Fair that me and Lane would always go on. That was
Oh,
fireball.
yeah. Yes, it was.
I hate that they don't have it there anymore because that was so fun.
So, have you ever seen a shooting star?
Yeah,
Okay. Comes down in a solid direction.
yeah.
This was under that, they could see it was trying to break and slow as it was coming down out of the air. So you have it, instead of how a shooting star just continuously falls, this one would come down. It looked like it would slow up because there was like point of references to watch with it. And then it seemed to deviate in different directions a little bit, like someone's controlling it, trying to slow it down and fix it. Yeah, I know, you're just so enthused here. This fiery object, about the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, crashed into a wooded area outside Kecksburg, 40 miles from Pittsburgh. Some eyewitnesses... We're gonna skip... Wait a minute. Oh, I didn't put it in. Shoot. I had a slide. Is the folder over there? Where did I put it? Where did I put it? I had a folder. Well, I don't know.
When I came
it's
in
okay.
earlier,
Continue.
all that was there was the paper.
Anyhow, I had it for where the crash site was, that you could actually see where the crash site was at. It just showed it on Google Maps. Some eyewitnesses' accounts describe this object, whatever it was, changing course, like I said, to avoid mountainous ridges, slowing down as if it was gliding through the air.
It's behind you.
Oh, thank you very much. There we go. There's the crash site. There you go. I thought I put that in the slide, but for some reason it was not in.
Okay, but you don't see anything.
Did I not just say you don't see anything? Did I not say that?
Yes, you did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's just showing you where it's supposed to be.
That's what I said.
Okay, but it doesn't tell you much.
That is Kecksburg Town Center, and that's it.
It doesn't tell you much. But yeah, okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Gives me a
This is
visual.
why the midgets need to reclaim Nick. I need to get back.
Nick!
Its impact was still powerful enough, though, to register a seismograph 320 miles away in Detroit, Michigan. Nearby residents contacted the state police, who arrived and searched the woods for the crashed object, but not before some locals decided to have a look for themselves.
God.
What was that for?
Then.
You've always got somebody who's got to try to be there first to see it.
Of course.
Right.
That's the person that dies in a horror movie.
That is true. It'd probably be Woody. He'd think his Elmo falling from the
Yeah.
sky. He's gonna pick it up.
Trying to tickle it.
Yeah. So accounts of the size vary, but these witnesses agree that they had seen a bronze or gold-colored object that looked like a large metallic acorn. And that's what I have in the next slide here. This is what everyone, regardless of how big it was, this is what the shape was that they claimed they
It
saw.
looks like a stadium spotlight. You know?
In a way, yes. That's not far off. Almost pulled that out. That would have been bad. Because that's everybody's microphones.
In my phone.
Well, your phone doesn't have to do with this, but the microphones would have cut everywhere out. Except mine. Some said it appeared seamless, as if it was cast as one solid piece of metal without rivets or wheels. The object had a slightly raised lip on its blunt end, encircled by a band that contained writing that looked like ancient Egyptian hieroglyphics. After the state police searched the woods, the U.S. military was contacted. Members of the U.S. Army and Air Force descended upon the scene a few hours later. Some residents said the NASA personnel were also present. Crowds of curious seekers came to the crash site determined to have a look at the fallen object after hearing reports on local radio and television stations. So witnesses said they saw a state police fire marshal and a man toting a Geiger counter headed into the woods towards the crash site. Military personnel also arrived at the scene armed with heavy equipment, including a flatbed, tractor trailer, and a crane. They declared the woods, quote, off limits and under quarantine. The site was sealed and citizens were banned from the area.
So they found something.
Right. So, regardless of what they found, putting to the side, extraterrestrial, NASA ship, whatever it is they found, they can have documented proof. Military, Air Force, and like I said, NASA was involved to come in to reclaim something, whether they knew it was there or not, and hauled it out. We've seen this for the Roswell incident. What was it? There was another smaller one that happened. Was it in New Mexico or Arizona? That happened right before, because there's a lesser one that happened. Because that body, he got buried there. He's actually, or had a no-name grave in one of the towns, and I cannot draw a blank at that shit.
Probably because you guys don't name.
No, they gave him a name.
Yeah, no
I
name.
can't remember it. But they hauled it out, and they told everybody not to worry about it and to go home. But the thing is, with this one, it is a lesser-known story, but more people literally witnessed this one that can corroborate it than the witnesses that were for Roswell. More people saw it after it happened, but like I said, I have some reports that follow up, like from triangulating, like where it came from and everything, but there's more reports spread out for this one than of Roswell that's more famous.
Okay.
So it is interesting that this one has more witnesses, but it was suppressed very quickly and kept quiet. So, initial reports. A large, brilliant fireball was seen at least in 6 U.S. states and Ontario, Canada. The reports of hot metal debris over Michigan and northern Ohio caused grass fires and sonic booms in the Pittsburgh area. Some people in the village of Kecksburg, about 30 miles southeast of Pittsburgh, reported wisps of blue smoke, vibrations, and a thump, and also that something from the sky had crashed in the woods. So, when state troopers and Air Force personnel searched the woods, they found, quote, absolutely nothing. A subsequent edition in the Tribune Review bore the headline, Searchers Fail to Find Object. So they went in with all this equipment, with all this personnel, and they claimed there was absolutely nothing there.
Okay.
Why?
Okay.
Authorities discounted proposed explanations such as a plane crash, inherent missile tests, or re-entry satellite debris, and generally assumed it to be a meteor. Astronomer Paul Anir said the fireball was likely to have been a meteor entering the Earth's atmosphere. Geophysicist George Witherlow, I'm gonna mess up these names,
Let me see.
this one right here.
Oh, I got no idea.
Just say somebody.
Witherio. We'll say that. Witherio.
Discounted speculations that it was debris from a satellite and agree that the reports were probably due to a meteor. Astronomers William P. Beidelman and Fred Hess said it undoubtedly was a meteor. A spokesman for the Department of Defense in Washington said first reports indicated the reported fireball was a natural phenomenon. So already we're starting to get cross stories. We're not even keeping it. We want to suppress whatever it is, but we can't keep it straight. Once the military was in place and the crash site secured, they had apparently went to work recovering the object. Later that night, some locals saw a military flatbed truck carrying a large object covered with a tarp, leaving the scene at a high rate of speed. What was concealed under the tarp? What did it require a military escort? The Air Force's official statement concluded that the fireball that had crashed in the woods was a meteorite, but some witnesses reported that other theories seemed to be a bit better fit for the metallic object. Meteorites are not gold. Everyone said it was gold in color, not shiny. They didn't say it like had a glitter to it.
Was bronze.
Bronze, gold, more on the gold side. It also had writings on it. Meteorites do not have writings. So even we go with it, if it's a meteorite that came down and they saw writings on it, why still that's a very major find. Even if, in my opinion, if it's then from a building, from space, from a planet that blew up or whatever, then why not? Here is proof that there is life out there. Here is a building. Here is writing on it. It came down as a meteorite, or maybe somebody carved something on a meteorite or whatever as it was floating through space. So why just scurry off with it that it's nothing at all? Go ahead.
Okay. So, what was it? Mid-60s? 65?
Yes.
Okay. There was a space race going on, right? With Russia?
I
Yes.
just learned about that in school.
Are you ready?
sent a dog
Researched
to
on that
space.
too? Are you more coming to it later?
You go ahead and say what you want to say because I've got you covered on this one.
They sent
Go
a
ahead.
dog to space in the middle of a Cold War, thinking it was a good idea.
It is ironic that
The
you bring that
fuck is
up
the
because
Okay.
no,
but,
you go
know,
ahead first.
You know, so it could have been a rocket, a secret rocket that the American government was working on.
Okay.
Yes. And of course they will say, no, we're not working on anything because,
They
you know,
did keep a lot of secrets like that in that time because they were
They
also
sh-
working on atomic bombs and stuff like that.
but they
Right,
still
no,
are.
they
did.
They still are.
Yeah, I'm just talking
But-
about in that time.
Right.
So it could have been a rocket.
Right.
Could have been a
It
dog.
was sent up in space and it missed, something went wrong and came through the atmosphere. And those weird writings on the object, yes. When it goes through the atmosphere, it's very hot in there. Yeah, it's burning. Yes. So the letters got scrambled or, whatever you want to call it, and boom, it looks like that. It's like
The word you want is disfigured.
disfigured.
Scrambled is when you rearrange.
Yeah,
the words.
okay,
I don't think you
okay,
can rearrange
okay.
them when they're on metal. I mean, if they can, I mean that's
Well,
really good.
okay,
That's some,
whatever you want to call it. I
You
mean,
can
it's
say
like the same if
disoriented.
you wash your car and it has the name of the brand on the side of the car. You go through mud, you can't read what it says
gets
too.
distorted. Yes.
So it gets distorted. It looks like gibberish too. So same principle.
Oh, okay.
Same principle. Okay, now you tell me what you got.
Like Robin, Many were convinced it was really a man-made space probe with stable re-entry capabilities, or a misfired Nike missile. Not Nike the shoe.
Oh, I was
but-
about to ask.
Yeah, no, that's why I
Did they
said
launch
that.
a shoe at me?
I knew you would bring it up. Unfortunately, Nick's not here. He's like, well, I picked it up. Blah, blah. No, it's a Nike missile. Or perhaps an extraterrestrial craft. So, serious conditions was given to the theory that it was a Soviet-made Venus space probe. The Cosmos 96 had failed and re-entered Earth's atmosphere that same day. Though, the Russians stated that their probe had crashed down in northern Canada. This would then indicate that the Russians had already acquired and tracked down their missing probe.
Unless Canada sent it back to the United States.
True, that is true. Later on, more outlandish stories would come out. One claimed that the object had been transported to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where bizarre bodies had been seen soon after. But just because a few of substantial rumors surrounded the event, let's not discount it altogether. If this truly was a meteor, why hasn't the public seen any photographic evidence or published studies of such a find? Like what I said. There's nothing to gain from secrecy over a fallen chunk of space rock, and scientific study of such a find would add to our knowledge of the universe. And not only that, we were in a space race.
Yeah.
In the middle
So
of a Cold War.
if we found something to help jettison us forward, then it would have come out, you would think, at some point. On some
Hi,
level.
Freya.
I agree. If it would have been a meteor, they would have,
If it was something so simple as a meteor,
then why
yes.
not say it? So yes.
Because
so it
there's
was not
no-
a meteor.
I
Okay.
heard her. Where'd she go?
She's up there, I think.
Okay.
There's
So-
nothing.
I agree on that.
I get the cover up with the bodies. If there's just for the sake of argument, if there's a body and it has a being, whatever, I get the cover up with that. But if they found a meteor and that's all it was,
They found a meteor in
Why cover it up?
yeah, why cover that up?
They found a body
Even
in the
if it
meteor.
helped with their space technology, like maybe there was a fuel in there that we found out we could refine on it, or a metal that we could use to help like forge some type of alloy for space travel or whatever, it would have come out by now. If it's
Yep.
something small and as insignificant as that, it would have come out. But to this day, it has not.
Yeah, but
So,
I really don't think that Russia would say, "Oh yeah, that's ours." Can
well, we
please
always
have it
know
back?
Russia's so truthful. So
Yeah, I know. Okay,
Or-
don't get me wrong.
Or
right,
Name one government that's truthful. There's no government around it.
right.
That's
Or
truthful.
America did some stupid shit again, and they launched something they weren't supposed to. So when it came back down, they just went to get it back, and they're like, "Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean-
it's a dead body." I think that'll calm them down.
You could be right. You could have just cracked the whole thing. Like we launched
I'm a
it.
genius. This is why I have straight A's.
Oh, where was I? If it was a man-made object, surely its classified status would have lapsed by now, because a lot of stuff has been declassified. Like I said, this one,
Yeah, but
that is your favorite phrase, I swear to God.
Yeah,
But-
what?
Yeah,
but
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
first of all, I got a cute one. Second of all, I got a tattooed the word.
What
on
one?
both of my shoes. But yes,
Are you in shock now?
no, I just want to see
Mind
how
wander there for a
can
little
how can I
Reel you in there. Come on,
bring
bud.
it in a way.
These
People are
little
gullible.
words.
In
Yes,
general,
you are.
people are gullible. Yes, if you say
God.
something enough times, then people will believe it.
Yes, telephone. Yes.
Yes. So if somebody starts, oh, there was a body on board, or I saw a body, could be a dead cow, for all we know, and they're just taking it to the a
That
base.
came down on the meteorite.
No, when the meteorite of it or the object hit the ground and killed the cow.
Oh,
Killed the
there
cow.
was a cow where.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then the government take it with them, or whomever took it with them
We're gonna
to
go have a barbecue in the hut.
to examine it.
Then why wouldn't they just say a meteorite struck an animal? Now we're gonna go.
Okay, but we
inspect-
already agreed that it wasn't a meteor. Otherwise, there was the issue with it being a meteor. Okay, so we already covered that, didn't we? So if it was an object, man-made object, yeah, and it hit a cow, or whatever,
I'm about to hit a cow.
they have to still examine it, right?
Well, yes, you are.
I mean, the
correct.
cow is just for example, but it could have
Okay,
been a cow.
yeah.
Oh, that was a body. Okay, if you say that long enough, everybody, people are starting to believe it.
According to this
Okay.
game, Uno
I mean,
isn't a word.
people still believe there were witches back in the, when was it? The Salem witches trials. People believe
Witches.
that. Witches trial.
A widget is something completely different. We really gotta
witch.
work on your words, man.
A witch. Okay, but you say that enough, then people will believe that I'm a witch. I mean, come on.
No, you are a widget. You're not a witch. You're a widget.
I'm a widget. I'm a cool thing to play with. Yes, I'm a widget.
That's a fidget.
Yeah, that's what I said.
No, we're talking about widgets, not fidgets.
So go.
You just want to deflect off of yourself now.
So, but yeah,
Mildly made my point. Move on.
Yeah,
I
we're
made
moving
my
on.
point.
Like the
We're
focus
moving
anymore.
on now.
I made my point.
What next? What we got next?
Let me make sure I'm having it in my right spots here. Okay. I pulled up for Mr. Facts. That's why I said I'm not telling you what topics we're talking about anymore because I started reviewing how I do my notes. I'm too worried about making sure I cover my shit with you. I'm like, I'd like to just have it.
You can tell me what you can tell me what we can talk about. First of all, I'm not going to look it up. I'm not going to do my own research. I'm not.
You're gonna
Because
get
that takes
surprised.
away from the
Yes.
it takes away from it all. So,
It takes
I
away
am
from
not.
it.
I just
Well, I still like the element of surprise, although I
yes,
already knew what
I
we
just
were doing.
give you my opinion on what I think, and if that makes me crazy, then I guess
It
I'm
It
crazy.
is.
But then again, I can't be the only one who thinks that way. So,
We haven't found them yet, so.
well, so people, if you agree
That's
with
why
me,
people
please
need
let
to
us
comment.
know. So please leave a comment. Let us know.
Email us. Do we have an email?
Yes, we do.
We have an email. This is
It
uh,
new information.
theunpackingitpodcast@gmail.com. Or theunpackingitpodcast.
And if you think I'm a complete idiot, then call the American
Which many
government,
should.
the
I
ICE
think a lot of them
department,
just flip
and
the channel and move on.
I wouldn't get the government involved, but
So, in this one here, this slide here is, I have a NASA statement for you,
okay.
kids.
but this slide here is to help within the argument of, yes, we will be fair in both, and I won't pick on Russia, both the US and Russia themselves never have shared complete information with each other whatsoever.
Of course not.
They always share it to a point, and that would be the train moving forward. Or we just had another crash.
Oh no, it's the train. The train's moving.
Just
Just a little bit, and it's going nice.
they only show or share so much information, and then that's about it.
Do you think another power box was hit?
So this is from actually the police report when they were putting it together. You can go on the key here on this side from eyewitnesses and whatnot that were put down. This is the path of the fireball as it comes in. We have Kecksburg right over here. This is the path of the Venus satellite that I talked about that re-entered from Russia.
Yeah.
Now, when you follow this on a large map, way up top, that would be up in your corner here, it actually hit in the complete opposite direction up in Canada. So saying that this is just showing where its route was in reference to where it was coming down. But they saw it and witnessed it in Canada coming down. And it happened earlier in the day. Like when Russia gave their information to when it came down, and when they matched it up with US satellite information of when their probe came down. Yes, I believe it was early afternoon of when it came down. This one came down late evening.
Okay.
There's almost a 7 to 8 hour time difference, but it's not like an hour here, and then I would be the first one to be like, you know what, that is very close. We'll validate that.
Okay.
But there is such a huge time frame when you're coming down, and even traveling by air, stuff happens quick. You can go from one end of this country to the other in just a few hours.
Yeah.
So something like this, it's not going to come down and then completely take a completely different route, come down from a different angle, and then come down again.
Okay.
So, but for you, NASA statement. In December 2005, just before the 40th anniversary of the Kecksburg incident, NASA released a statement reporting that the experts had examined metallic fragments from the area and determined that they were from a Soviet satellite that re-entered the atmosphere and broke up, but records of the findings were lost in the 1980s. Don't get yourself overly excited yet,
Okay.
because there's more stuff in here that I have not shown you. You're going to do that too.
Okay.
I'm not doing anything.
There are a few slides that I have saved for last because I have put some
Because it
minefields
proves
in.
that you're
Okay.
wrong.
Yes, no, it does. I put these in purposely so you can give your opinion, which I want you to give your opinion.
But you're wrong.
But then I have some holes to fire in. I've
Okay.
got my own ammo for once.
We'll get the pellet gun. Pew pew.
Leslie Keene, described as an investigative reporter backed by the Sci-Fi Channel, reportedly sued NASA under the Freedom of Information Act for the lost NASA records. On October 26, 2007, NASA agreed to search for those records after being ordered by the court. During the hearing, Steve McConnell, NASA's public liaison officer, testified that 2 boxes of papers from the time of the Kecksburg incident were missing. Loss of records is not unique in the case of NASA. For example, the original tapes recorded during the televised Apollo 11 moon landing were misplaced or, quote, have been reused. In 2008, space writer James Auberg suggested that NASA was unlikely to possess any such documents since, in his view, it was highly unlikely that the supposed NASA team that investigated the site were, in fact, Air Force personnel who identified themselves as NASA personnel, something regularly done by military personnel in civilian clothes during the 1960s. They go as observers and try to go under the radar. He further suggested that Keene's actions was no more than a public stunt for the benefit of Keene's employers. According to John Ventry, I hope I'm saying these last names right, of MUFON, and Shafton native Owen Eckler, their recent investigations have led them to speculate that the object that reportedly landed in Kecksburg was a General Electric Mark II re-entry vehicle that had been launched by the Air Force as a spy satellite but fell out of orbit. Hence the mad dash to claim it and cover it all up. We needed confirmation from NASA or the Air Force, however. More recent comments by NASA are less supportive of a link to a Soviet satellite. There is some speculation that the re-entry of the Cosmos 96 type spacecraft was responsible for a fireball which was seen over southwestern Ontario, Canada, and at least 8 states from Michigan to New York at 4:43 p.m. EST on 9th December 1965. Investigations of photographs and sightings of the fireball indicated its path through the atmosphere was probably too steep to be consistent with a spacecraft re-entering from Earth orbit, and was more likely a meteor in a prograde orbit from the vicinity of the asteroid belt, and probably ended its flight over western Lake Erie. U.S. Air Force tracking data on Cosmos 96 also indicated the spacecraft orbit decayed earlier. Other analysis of the spacecraft orbit definitely indicated it could not have been the Cosmos 96 spacecraft. Some unconfirmed reports state the fireball subsequently landed in Pennsylvania, southeast of Pittsburgh, near the town of Kecksburg, at 4:46 p.m. EST.
Okay.
Got all that?
Somewhat.
So, what do you need me to?
No, go ahead.
No,
Go.
What somewhat?
Go.
No, not go.
Go. I got it.
This is not like a one-sided story.
I know. I got it.
What do you have?
That it couldn't have been the Russian spacecraft.
Right. But, okay, so with their own report that NASA gave out, they were dead set that it was. Then as more and more information came out that they supposedly already looked into everything, then they backed out of it to the first story of no, it wasn't. It was just a meteorite that came down, or an asteroid that came down.
Yes.
You have the object, you would know one way or the other.
Okay. Well, yes or no?
Continue.
Example. Yes? When John F. Kennedy was assassinated, right?
We don't want to touch that. Not right now.
Well, I do. It's a very, very simple. The government said one thing. Immediately. Yes? Immediately.
Okay.
And now the American government is unclassifying documents, and and people are doing research, and now it's a different thing. So yes, that the people are saying one thing, and then a couple of years later, months later, weeks later, whatever it is, a whole different story. Yes, I understand, because people want answers.
Okay.
So I get that. It takes a while to research. It takes a while to examine the whole 9 yards. So it takes a while.
Okay.
But people, in general, they are curious. They want to know what happened immediately.
But no, agreed.
Yes. So they come up with something. A reasonable explanation. Yeah. A reasonable explanation of what could have happened, and they present it as this is what happened. So, yes. That all of a sudden the Americans said, or whomever, the army, whatever, it's a meteorite or a UFO or whatever. Yes, I get that. And then later on, contradicting themselves. Yes, I mean, that's understandable. That happens all the time. I mean, in the newspapers, news. When something happens in the news, yeah. Oh, people always say this happened. This is why.
I get that, but they literally have the object that came down. So why are you gonna double? You went. When was the first? 2005 is when they wanted to confirm that it was the satellite that came down. You have the object. You know what the heck it is. So after 40 years, you're going to tell me it's the satellite, and then within a, 12 year time, less than 10 years time, they changed it again that no, it was just the meteorite. You've got, this is where it's different from releasing documents for JFK. This glass broke. You took it. I don't have it.
Yeah.
I heard something crash. You took the glass. You're telling me a bowl fell.
Okay.
Then you inspect it a little bit longer, because I'm like, well, the way it was shaped and everything, I think it looked more like tube-ish, not like a bowl, blah, blah, blah. And you said, nope, it was 100% a bowl. We can confirm that, blah, blah, blah. You have all the information here, but enough eyewitnesses came forward, then you finally go like, no, it was this instead. You have all the information.
Okay.
You've got the black and white answer right here.
I really do believe it was something classified.
Okay.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, you keep saying yes, so I'm going to start saying no.
Okay, but I really do believe it.
I have not lost you. I am right here along the journey.
Well, you look confused, so...
It's just how you describe things, sir.
Okay,
That's
I'm trying.
all.
I'm doing my best.
I hear what you say,
I'm
but
doing
it's
my
how
best.
you word things most of the time.
Okay, but that was something for not other people to know, secret. That it was that, yes, I believe so. Yes. So, because once it's out in the open, everybody knows. And you don't want to know, you don't want some elements.
Right, if it's your technology, you don't want to share it. That's what you're saying. No, that's
Exactly.
that's
So.
understandable.
Okay. And to satisfy people's needs on, wanting to know things.
We'll leave that part later. So, follow the screen here. This is a longer trajectory path that it shows for it coming down past the first witnesses up in Canada, down through Michigan, where it eventually ended up in PA. There's an article here
Yeah.
from one of the books. This here is the satellite that they claimed it was.
Okay.
That's the Soviet satellite. What there looks like an acorn.
It doesn't look the same. Maybe the top bit, but unless they said
Yeah.
maybe a chunk of it flew off, maybe if just the top part flew off.
To give this to you for scale, this sucker maxes out at 8 feet.
No, my chapter restarted.
Most of the people agreed that the object they saw was at least between 9 and 10 foot tall.
Okay.
So if that burns down and that's already 8, it shrinks down. We'll be considered at least a couple of inches. It's already smaller than what they predicted it was going to be. And it also was supposed to look like an acorn, was it not?
Mm.
Where's the acorn?
Okay.
Next one. Missile. This was the missile that they said it was going to be.
That doesn't look like an acorn.
What about that?
Looks more like a carrot.
Even if the tip breaks off coming down out of space, how's that looking like an acorn? And
Okay,
where's the
but
rating?
when it goes through an atmosphere, like I said, it's very hot. It's burning. It's mingling
These
up.
are made to take high temperatures.
Yeah, but not from the atmosphere. When it goes to re-entry.
The only one that comes close to it. This is the Mark II that they talk about.
That looks like it'd be a helmet in Star Wars.
That is not a helmet.
It could be.
No. This is the only one that is close. This is the Mark II GA re-entry vehicle that was used for the Thor, Jupiter, and Atlas missile missions.
Okay.
None were scheduled for that day. This does not have, there is a small capsule inside, but this is the only thing that is close to it. There was no writing on these ones though. This is made to take the heat to come down. This is the only one that somewhat matches up to the acorn shape.
Okay.
Again, if it was this, there's been enough top secret stuff that has come out. The high-flying bombers, the stealth bombers that went up and everything, a lot of the stuff like the triangular fighters, a lot of the stuff that was viewed as UFOs or just unidentified plane, which that phrase I think gets mixed up. Like when you have unidentified flying object, they're like, well, it's UFO. It doesn't necessarily mean spacecraft.
Oh no, it could be a bird.
It's unidentified. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but a lot of those ones that were unidentified, like I said before, the time has passed for a lot of those top secret things that disclosure has passed now.
Mm-hmm.
That it would have come out by now. And especially for where it landed. That's what goes into the credence of the possibility of it being extraterrestrial or something else because of the area it is. Chestnut Ridge is very famous for paranormal things, blue ghost lights, Bigfoot, Dogman, and seeing odd things in the sky that are attracted to that area. Just like over in Scotland, there are a few areas of their mountain areas that they get a lot of unexplained phenomenon, we'll say.
Okay.
That it seems to be just like drawn to that area.
Okay.
So, what?
I read today in the news, there's I don't know which country it was. I can't look it up because I don't have an internet connection. But there's blue cows walking around now. In an area in a country.
Okay.
Blue cows.
What's your point?
Isn't that the same?
No?
Look the same.
You know, because you see something, you can't explain it. Okay, then. It doesn't, no.
It's a breed called Belgian Blue.
No, but they actually,
We've got an
no, but they're actually turning. It
It's
was
a
regular
genetic
cows,
mu-
but they actually turned blue because there was something in the water or in
It's
the,
a
You just
genetic-
answered their question, then that's how they turn blue. There
Yeah,
was a
it's,
reason
Yeah,
it
behind
okay,
says it's a
but,
genetic
you still have to
mutation.
investigate. But, yeah.
I think you picked a bad example there, sir.
Yes, I did. But, no, but,
You were passionate with that. You were going with that somewhere, but
yeah, I was really going somewhere with that. But, no, I really was.
I believe you
No,
because you
you're
were
right.
leading up. I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
so
but,
I'm
you know,
waiting for the connection here.
She has something to say.
like we said, you know, it comes through the atmosphere. It's very hot.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing that it's very hot.
So just because the material is made for it to withstand those temperatures doesn't mean there couldn't be a flaw in the design. So it burned up
I'm not saying that
re-entry.
there couldn't be a flaw.
I mean, so talking about extraterrestrial, or a UFO, no. That it was something that the government did that nobody needed to know or should know. Yes.
Well, like I said, by now disclosure should have passed. I'm talking over 60 years now since this
Okay,
thing
but
happened.
why not is Roswell, disclosed?
Well, that's just it. With Roswell, we know more information. Actually, more stuff has been disclosed of Roswell.
No.
Yes, it has. Like, we don't know, like, every nook and cranny, but there is a lot now. There has been more disclosure on even just Area 51, because I remember, I'm in my late 30s now. I can remember as a kid going on the computer, and I had a floppy drive, and I forget what site it was, but there would be this site that would drop more and more satellite photos that they were able to, like, scrounge up of, like, this is what Area 51 looked now, this is what it looks like that. And that's when we had no clue of what it was and what was there. And in just my lifetime, as short as it has been, they have come clean that yes, Area 51 does exist. There is stuff that goes on there. We do conduct experiments of our testing and blah, blah, blah. Now, is that all they do? We can't say yes or no to that, but we at least now have it confirmed that at least that is there. For the longest time, even in the 90s when I was a kid, they swore up and down that there was nothing there, that you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but people going into the area see it with their own eyes. I mean, of course.
No,
You could say-
you couldn't see it because there was one mountain range that you could actually watch the test flights for until military found out that people can see from here. They bought that mountain and closed it off so they couldn't get in anymore. They wanted to push it out. So that just goes to my point here. There's been enough time. Kecksburg is we're showing it. It's the middle of nowhere. I mean, I love Pittsburgh and I like this area and everything.
Yeah, but how come?
It's in the middle of nowhere. Who's gonna give a shit?
Okay, but how come always those flying objects always crash up in the middle of nowhere? Why not?
Well, that's what I said. It's
So-
not technically for us. It's the middle of nowhere, but this is connected with the Chestnut Ridge, the Appalachian Mountains. There's a lot when you match up sightings to that region compared to, we'll just say, like maybe New York or just northern Pennsylvania. We won't even go out of the state. If you match that to northern Pennsylvania, there is more sightings in the mountain regions of the Alleghenies and the Appalachian Mountains than compared to other spots in the United
Okay,
or
but
in
then I really do
Pennsylvania.
believe that the pressure in the atmosphere changed because in those areas you're higher anyway than higher elevation anyway, so it's just a fluctuation in how you want to call it.
Do you
air
wear
pressure.
a belt with all your comebacks that you got?
No,
cancer
I don't
for
wear a
everything?
belt.
I'm just like you've got them to just pitch out immediately.
No, yeah, but atmospheric
wondering-
pressure change, so people will get delusional. The less air you have in your brain.
So you're saying the witnesses are delusional?
Well, I don't want to say delusional, but
I don't want to say you're dumb or insane, but I mean, if the shoe fits, that's up to you.
yeah, but a fluctuation in air pressure.
Is that what
Because-
happened to you during your air flight over here? You had a fluctuation in...
No, I think my issue is when I hit the wall at gym class. But then you should examine all the witnesses too. Then examine their brains.
They do...
Then examine their brains. I mean, come on.
They do an investigation. They do interview them. They do!
Yes, they do.
Okay, but
It's just like with me
okay,
getting
I
the information
understand,
for these. I just don't pull up every
You
old
don't wanna-
website. I know most of these stories that I'm talking about, and then I go in to just get more in-depth information. What is that? Is that
People-
not how you work? You look confused in that.
no, but
When I
you
see
just
a story...
you just tell people what they want to hear.
No, I'm not telling you. I'm admitting that there are some, like this spacecraft here, this is a viable object for it. But one of the aspect missings is it's not even Dakota's bronze, gold. It's not that color. It's silver.
Okay,
And no, not okay. It's that color, and there are no writings on it. We don't put ratings on spacecraft, even for a test one. Zip.
Okay. If you buy a wok, right? Or you cook with, right?
Okay.
Yes? It's a different color. You heat it up, it changes
I
color.
knew that's where you were going with
So
this.
that's the point here.
I could see your face when I said about the color. Nope, I've got for that one. I'm telling you, I
Come
got it
on.
right here.
Come on. If it's turning hot, it changes color. That it was something man-made, yes. A secret weapon, yes. I believe that what it was.
Okay.
It's not a UFO or...
Well, like we
No.
said, well, I don't want to say UFO because UFO is just unidentified.
Yeah, okay.
Extraterrestrial. You
Extraterrestrial.
do not believe it was extraterrestrial. Okay.
No, I really don't.
I believe you. No,
Oh,
There's
yeah.
And
there
when-
is no misinterpretation.
And when the material is made out of layers, right?
A what?
Layers.
No, what is made out of layers?
The material that went
material,
through the
okay.
atmosphere, yes,
Okay.
is made out of layers.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I mean,
What?
I'm just
We're
I'm
not
telling
about
you
the
what's going on
atmosphere,
in my mind.
No,
Yes,
you're-
instead of
We
let my
just
mind
learned
go first
about,
and then say something.
Atmospheres and stuff in biology. And, like,
And what did you learn
ecosystems.
about that? Help with his argument, if you would.
Well, we learned about the biosphere. That's what we learned about. The atmosphere is mainly like the air and stuff, right? Like carbon dioxide and
Nope.
air.
You got it. Yes.
Yeah.
That's all you got.
And then the biosphere is the section where like all living things are.
Right.
That's what we learned because it was on the keystones.
Okay.
Fucking
Okay.
hate.
That's what she
I don't
said.
know. We watched Bluey today, man.
I thought you were gonna be some help too, but no. Okay, that's fine. It's
No, but
I'm not kidding though. We watched Bluey in my
that's great.
biology class. We watched Bluey and then Mythbusters, where we watched them blow up a car. It was really cool.
maybe that's what we should do. We should take a piece
Blow
of
up a
metal.
car?
And
yes.
She's all
heat it
about
up in
blowing
my
stuff
Ford.
up.
I mean, we got
Yeah,
a
but do you
fueled
think it
cars.
will reach the same temperature as it as you get as the friction that
Okay, we're
That
probably
creates the
gonna be
temperature?
we're probably gonna be using a softer metal than what they used.
still not the same, so the results will be different.
You know, I'm
Can
trying
we
to
blow
help
up a
you.
car?
Yeah, no, you don't have to. I don't need anybody's help. But you know, thank you, appreciate
Okay,
it.
then go
But
home.
I have to go to work in a few. But you know,
Then go to work.
we are talking about this.
Okay.
I need to give him something to think about when he's trying to go to sleep, and he can't.
I have no problem
No,
going
okay,
to sleep.
but you know,
No,
like
I
I
can
said,
vouch for
the
that. You
meteor,
fell asleep
no,
on the couch.
because that would probably be so mysterious about
Come
it. There
here.
wasn't a
I will
meteor.
pet you
Yes,
if you come here.
right, right.
For
the Russian
millionth time.
Venus capsule.
No,
No.
that one. When
No,
I
Smells myself.
I
but
was
just
I don't want to scratch your butt.
but just the fact too that okay, we're shaping what was the shape? That's a acorn. Yes.
Of the witnesses, yes, they said.
Okay.
Yes, a bronze acorn.
Okay, but when it enters the atmosphere,
Okay,
It
you,
is
you
so
don't have to
hot.
repeat. You don't.
It's so
no,
hot,
You
so
do
it
not have to repeat yourself
mangles.
16 times.
the shape. I mean, so that's why I make it look like an acorn. Just because on a photo it doesn't look like one doesn't mean it is not one. You know what I mean?
You think someone just chucked a giant acorn?
No, but it just doesn't make
I'm
sense.
You.
Oh, it looked like an acorn. Oh, this doesn't look like. No, because it hasn't been through the atmosphere, so you don't know what it looks like if it goes through the atmosphere.
Do you mean something like how in rivers, rocks after so long
What's
they
your
like
thoughts?
deform and stuff?
Yes,
Okay.
because of the
I'm the only
friction of
one
the
getting
water.
attacked by him.
Yeah,
here,
and how they
so
keep
what's your
colliding with
thoughts?
other rocks to reshape.
My thoughts are yes, I do believe that there is life beyond Earth. I do believe that our universe is so vast that we would be pretty arrogant to believe that we are the only beings in it. Is it possible that it was alien spacecraft? Absolutely. The reason things get covered up by governments is because they do not want the people to know everything all the time.
I like her more than
Even
him.
now. Oh, even in this day and time,
I
they
think
are still
NASA did
covering things
discover
up. We will never
another-
know. We will never know. So it boils down to what you believe. The conspiracy theories are aplenty about
Definitely.
everything. So
And for as many as I like, there are some of them that do get too far-fetched. That they,
Yes.
they do reach a little too far.
yes, they
Yeah,
do.
but the problem is with people is
Jesus
people want
Christ.
answers. People want answers.
yes,
And what's
they
wrong
do.
with that?
Whether it's the right answer or not, they want answers.
Or just stay curious
And that's how-
and fuck off.
Well, to be fair, yes. I mean, we do want answers, but we just shouldn't accept whatever's tossed at us. Well, there's an answer. That's good enough. But then again, that applies on both. That just because they say it's a satellite or this, I need to see the proof behind it. If you can prove 100% to me without a shadow of a doubt, this is what it is. Because like I said, you've got the thing.
Yeah, but who's gonna prove it?
The people who have it. It's been 60 years now. This is what we found. To this day, in Kecksburg, there is a pole with just a sculpture that they made of what the witness account is of what it looked like. So whatever you've got that you hauled out, put it in the Smithsonian. We learn from our failures.
Yeah.
So
True.
if it was a satellite and it crashed, this happened, blah, 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 this is where we screwed up. 60 years ago, we launched this. We were trying to either make a probe to go in space as a test run, or it was part of a spy plane satellite. This is what we did. We have advanced since then, blah, blah, blah. Like I said, it's been 60 years.
I get that.
But again, the government doesn't
People
really
are not
like
talking
admitting to
about
their
it. People are not
mistakes.
asking the government,
You are
hey, what was
correct
it?
on
What is
that
it?
one.
What is
Very
it?
No,
much
there are
so.
people asking what
Yeah,
is
but
it.
not in the amount of,
No, there.
and not in the amount of what happened at Roswell,
What's Roswell again?
Area 51.
Oh.
No.
About it was a spacecraft crashed and they found bodies and they took it to Area 51.
Took it to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base.
I'm petting
Wow, okay,
you.
but it ended
Calm
up in
down.
okay, but you know, if enough people are pitching a fit, hey, we want to have answers now, then you know the government will come up with another story. I really do believe it was such a secret weapon that they didn't want to know because you know they were in a space race with Russia. So
Like I said, I'd be willing to accept that if you say it now.
yeah, but
No, there's
as,
no
as
but
long
to
as
that.
Oh
if
my
there's
God.
enough people go to
No.
the American government to say, hey, we want to know what the answer is, we want to know what happened.
They
Yes.
have gone. There's enough petitions sitting in there to know. Freedom of Information Act in there that they just keep pushing to the back that they won't let out.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean okay. Freedom of Information Act doesn't mean they show everything.
Let's wrap this up.
Please.
UFOs are more than mere popular fiction. They have also been the subject of prolonged study by the U.S. Air Force during the Cold War. Between 1947 and 1996, Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio tracked a total of 12,618 reports of strange objects in the sky over its 22-year history. Project Blue Book, as the mission was called, explained away most of the objects. Most of it, that is, except for 701 cases that remain to this day a mystery. Yes. what
You
got?
said the Air Force was interested in the UFOs during the Cold War.
Yes.
Why didn't we learn about that in history then? Instead of having to learn
Controversial.
about the stupid tension stuff and then suddenly dog in space.
Because that's just it. We'll do an episode on Project Blue Book. Because, especially for you probably don't know that much about it. But within
Never heard of it in my life.
Project Blue Book was an organization put together by the U.S. military, or the U.S. Air Force, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, on the surface, it was to confirm, I should better say, it was a face to when there was a report of an unidentified sighting of something in the sky. They would send a credible professor who got ripped apart at the end of it, but they considered him credible when he did what they wanted him to do, to investigate reports of what was going on, write it off, and to, like I said, out of those 12,000 accounts, only 700 were left that they could not explain. They wrote off the rest. Ball lightning, swamp gas, flock of birds.
Sounds like his excuses.
He would have worked for Project Blue Book very well. But at the end of it...
First of all, it's not excuses.
Uh-huh.
At the end of it...
Sounds like an
what
excuse
they
to me.
wanted to do with the program that was supposed to give answers to help quiet the public just went to confirm more. Why did you make an organization to confirm what was in the sky? And if you know what's going on up in there, why is there 700 cases that you have no idea what happened? You should have been able to figure everything out. Most agree that it was a legitimate organization, and they suppressed as much as they could and tried to write off as much as they could, but they were literally trying to hit UFO crash sites or extraterrestrial crash sites as quick as possible to get the information before the public did, and then write it off. No, plane crash, weather balloon, blah, blah, blah. Nothing happened here. Move on. Out of those, so we will at some point here, maybe we'll do that in one of our next ones, Project Blue Book. Out of those 701 cases of unsolved investigations, what was it? I just had my number. 16 of those unsolved cases were from right here in Pennsylvania, spread out over 14 years in towns across the state. So, June 13th, 1952, Middletown, Pennsylvania. June 26th, 1952, Pottstown, Pennsylvania. July 9th, 1952, Kutztown. July 19th, 1952, Elkins Park. July 23rd, 1952, back in Pottstown. July 23rd, 1952, Altoona, Pennsylvania. August 20th, 1952, Neffsville, Pennsylvania. September 13th, 1952, Allentown. September 14th, a day later, 1952, in Olmsted, AFB. March 2nd, 1954, it just had in the records town unnamed. It was partially legible in the record that I pulled up because this was in a government document that all these towns were written
Probably
down in.
unnamed it, and it's gonna be the one that was like the closest.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Like it was right here.
Well, we have August 27th, 1956, Juniana. That's just right over in Juniana County.
I know where Juniana is.
So, October 2nd, 1958, Strasbourg. March 26th and 27th, 1959, Corsica. May 26th, 1964, Pleasant View. July 11th, 1966, Union, Pennsylvania. July 31st, 1966, Presque Island State Park. It seems like Pennsylvania is more of a hotbed or hot landing spot for UFOs. It is not the most reported state, but it is in the top 5. Most of those towns I just named are all within striking distance of the Allegheny Mountains.
Yeah, but I don't believe in that.
I can show you the map! I can prove it
Yeah,
to
no,
you!
that's fine. I don't believe in UFOs. I don't believe. No. No, I don't. I really don't.
I don't believe in aliens either.
Well, I'm one, so yes, I do.
It is
Not
a
that
wonder.
sort of
It really is a wonder.
I'm surprised they haven't taken me to Area 51 yet to examine me.
His residence is just outside of Huntington. You want me to come fetch him for you?
Please
You may
come take him.
Marysville, Pennsylvania.
We'll do a little trade. You take him, give us Nick back. Problem solved.
Find out where the bitches took him.
And be like, hey, we have a delivery for you. Take this guy to Area 51. Give us back our friend Nick.
Then you have to argue with your dad. He asked me to do this with him, and with Nick.
This
So.
was your idea too.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
This was
Absolutely, but
So-
you agreed.
Our fault.
Your fault.
You agreed.
I blame him.
So, and you know who I am, what I am, and how I think.
At some point we'll get to the big one because that's.
What
gonna
is the
be
big one?
Time travel.
No, don't
Ooh.
even.
That one. That's not for a long way off because I have a lot that I have been.
Just
compiling
wait
on
till
that
I do
one.
my
You know how
haunted house
fast you have to
episode.
travel?
We're not gonna get started on that. We're not. There is. I have a lot.
Just wait till
That
I-
is gonna be one of our like the guys that I listened to, how they did one on the pyramids and whatnot. That's gonna be one of our big ones because I got a lot.
Was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? I watched on Tyson. What's his name? Mark Degree Tyson, the astrophysicist.
I don't know. It's his story.
But
Probably
there's
should be with his
I don't know his exact name, but he's an astrophysicist. And it was yesterday. I saw it on YouTube. If we wanted to go to the outskirts of our universe, our galaxy, at the speed of light, it would take us 100 million years to get there. So, if you want to do time travel, you know how fast you have to go?
Where's your fingernail black?
There was a metal pole and an air conditioner.
Okay. Anyways, just wait till I do my haunted house episodes. That'll be fun.
I have an answer for your question, but I'm gonna wait for the.
Okay, I don't know. You can answer right now.
Because
No, he wants to wait.
in everything with time travel is all theory, whether you're going to prove against it for it one way or the other.
You can't.
You can't what?
Because all you have to do is go back in time. and
Someone
nobody
needs
said
to buy
anything.
him a fantasy book and give him a little bit of imagination here.
I have imagination enough, don't I? Huh? You tell me. You know me
Young
better.
adult?
You know me better. Tell him I have imagination. I really do.
Sometimes
But no,
way
but
too
not when it
much.
comes to this. Not when it comes to this. I mean, I
I
can't.
feel like Cruel Prince is too high fantasy for him. Maybe we should start with Shatter Me at Dystopian.
I have plenty of imagination. Otherwise, I wouldn't have come up with a lot of stupid comments and stupid jokes. So I have a lot of imagination.
There's positive
Quite a few
imagination
theories
and
with time
negative.
travel incorporate, and we'll just leave it at that. Then you don't necessarily have to have speed for time travel.
Okay.
You are bending space to acquire it. Because I have my own theories of we possibly have already done time travel, and even the people experimenting on it don't know it.
He should watch
I
the
know,
Adam
because-
Project.
Leave it at that. Leave it at that.
That's for another day.
That's where we leave it. This is where we're
Can-
gonna
can
look.
I-
No,
Okay.
we leave.
Okay.
You talk about me going down rabbit holes, you go down them, and like,
Okay.
what?
He should watch the Adam Project. Do you remember that movie we watched with Ryan Reynolds and Walker Scobell? Where it's like his older self coming back into time to see his younger self.
To be very honest, I fell asleep halfway through that movie.
What? I love that movie. It's so funny.
I didn't say. I say that. I'm not trying to say that it's a bad movie, but I remember when you put that on, I was very tired. And yeah, I only made it halfway
Yeah.
through and I passed out.
Anyways,
So,
you should watch
I
it.
really do believe
I did
it
that
was
with
a.
some Star Wars ones that I didn't mean to too. So
Yeah,
yes, we know what you.
He keeps falling asleep when I try and show him things.
You picked the wrong time of day to put it on.
It's the only time of day we have!
Well,
So you tell me
make
that
me
I
a
don't
cup
have
of
an
tea.
imagination, then according to you, Dad, you're not interesting enough. That's how I read it. Every time
No.
she tries to show you something, you fall asleep. Isn't that what you said?
No, I'm taking blame for it. That I'm
Oh,
passing
okay.
out because I know I'm trying to stay awake. I really am.
Oh, okay.
and, yeah, I dozed off after we had dinner this
He
evening.
watches Tinkerbell with me, so.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
Fucking love
That is what a
Tinkerbell.
show is supposed to be. Entertaining.
And we watched How to Train Your Dragon the other day with Jessica.
I know that's
that's how-
against you so much.
That's how gullible,
You should watch
gullible people are educated.
it
Let's
has nothing
make
to
it,
do
watch
with
a movie about fairy tales so people will start believing
Just to
that's
be- no,
fairy
it-
tales.
Yeah, watch Tinkerbell.
What is wrong with believing in something to have some hope?
Exactly.
What's up?
Okay.
Thank you, dear.
You're welcome.
Let's not go into that rabbit hole there. We did it once and the song wasn't recorded, so. But yeah,
You want proof that a god exists? Somebody existed there. That yeah. Ghost spirit, something shut down my computer. Like you don't want to try. We're gonna get you out of this. Thank you. I'm like, sorry, I had to re-record the other one, but
a divine intervention.
yeah, thank you. That's what I needed. I had some divine intervention. Like, we're gonna save you to try to editing that. I'm like, I don't know how.
Was it
I'm
trying to save
saving
you or
this.
me?
That's a good question. That
Cut
really
out
is.
everything that Robin says.
No, when I was listening to that, and I'm like, I don't know how I make this sound good.
Oh, you don't have to make it sound good. I mean,
I couldn't have posted that.
why not?
Oh Lord.
I see. This is where it is. I wish I had it, but then I'm glad I don't have it. Like I wish I had it so I could play it back to you, so you could just hear it and just listen. Don't talk. Just listen. But at the same point, I'm like, then I would have had to post it. Then we would have had to shut the website
I understand.
down.
I know I was tired that day, but it was
You
just-
were
And I was
you
just,
were not very
you know.
happy. I mean, it's understandable.
And when I'm tired, I get very open and
You did, and that's
tell
this one
say
tuned.
things
I'm
about
not
me.
picking on you. This one tuned out,
Oh yeah, I started
and
shopping.
come later when I was talking to Nick, he's like, "Well, I was waiting for you to like stop it." And I'm like, I didn't know what to do. This was like a train off the rails. I'm like, where did the track go? You want it back on the track? I don't even know where we are.
It's like those roller coasters that have like those missing tracks in them.
The bit to be nice to you though, honestly, the best thing you said out of the whole thing was after you had like your, I think it was like a 20-minute like spiel.
Meltdown between consumers.
Well, meltdown, whatever, and not to pick on that, but after the 20 minutes, your statement that I will never forget was, but to be serious now. What do you mean be serious?
Have we not been serious?
I'm like, what the hell was this?
Yeah, because it was that whole thing he was on about like love and shit.
I don't.
No, we're not going back there.
I'm like,
I hope somebody from the
Wow.
government is not hearing this because I will get kidnapped and literally brought to Area 51.
if this hasn't been serious, I need to step it up. I mean, I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, when I'm tired, I say what I feel and I don't hold
You
back.
had a lot to feel that day.
When I'm tired,
Well,
I
or
just start
apparently
hysterically
lack of
laughing.
not feeling anything. Apparently, the lack of.
True, yeah, for what you were saying, the lack of.
The lack of feeling.
Like I
things.
said, like you got a lot of stuff that you go through.
See,
and,
and,
find out.
and if I make that comment already, I know exactly what I said. So that already proves that it was just me talking. That's how I feel, that's how I am, that's what I am, and boom. There was nothing. You know what I'm trying to say?
He sounds
No.
like a kid trying to come
Okay.
out to his parents. Like, this is who I am, this is what I am, it's how I feel.
He wants to talk to you later.
Oh boy, we're gonna have to talk later.
Are we finally gonna have to talk?
I know you've been putting this off, but
Finally gonna have a wedding
Lord.
night. That only took you 20 years.
That only took 20 years.
Well, that I keep telling, I don't know, can I say that? You can cut it out. That's what I keep telling my Walmart associates. Every time I request days off for my wedding anniversary, I always get denied. So I've been married for 20 years and still
Never
waiting for the wedding night.
It's gonna be another 20 years. Wait until.
you can get that one night when you're dead.
But the funny part is, 9 out of 10 people believe it.
Believe it.
And they feel sorry. And that management, I will see what I can do. I will see what I can do. It's so, yes. Conclusion to
baby.
this episode.
Anyways,
A recap, please.
no, let's just quit.
Okay.
Anybody listening, you want more information on the Kecksburg incident, please go on to Small Town Monsters. They have an entire series devoted to the Chestnut Ridge. Like I said, we are going to cover more stories about that and of the Chestnut Ridge itself. They have a small episode, or no, I think there's 2 episodes devoted to just the Kecksburg incident, and
That
they
is
do
my foot,
smaller
dear.
investigations with interviews later on. Stan Gordon is a good one, who a lot of things that are paranormal. He mainly covers Bigfoot, but he does cover a lot of just paranormal things that happen in the Pennsylvania area. He has numerous books on the topic. So anybody listening, or you, if you have free time from the computer that you would like to do some reading,
Or if you're not sleeping.
or not sleeping, since you need your beauty rest so much.
Yeah. I don't want my wife fall out of love with me because, I don't get enough sleep.
I thought
You know.
that's what the talk was gonna be for.
And if I get enough sleep, that keeps my brain and my mind,
What's
healthy
left of it.
and normal.
The normal.
So,
So you should probably get to bed then.
Give us a like if you enjoyed this episode or any of our episodes that you've heard. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook. Freya, will you please?
Freya, unfortunately, does not have any social media.
Shush. We have our website, theunpackingitpodcast.com. And if you would like to leave us a email, it is theunpackingitpodcast@gmail.com. I'm afraid to ask, but any other final thoughts out of you?
God,
about
no.
this episode or in general?
Don't even. No.
You got anything else, dear?
I think it was a good episode. I think it could have been something from outer space, it could have been something extraterrestrial, or, the government could have fucked up again and they just don't want to admit to it. Could be either or, but I think it's less likely to be something from either our government or the Russians due to the fact that they thought they saw writing on it. Because as you said, they're normally, if it is a spacecraft, there normally wouldn't be that type of writing for testing.
Right.
So I feel like it probably would be something from out of this world. Don't look-
Thank you for coming, dear.
Thank
we
you for
enjoyed
having
your
me.
presence, not his.
You are welcome back anytime that you want. Whether he says yes or no, anytime you want to come back, you are more than happy to show up.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Go ahead, have your 2 cents.
So should I just stay home then next time?
That's up to you.
Hey, I like doing this, so.
If you're having
Like
fun,
we said,
then
we'll
It's
do a
having
little
fun.
trade with the midgets, giving Robin. they'll
hopefully
give us
we
Nick.
can track Nicholas down and we can get him in.
Yeah.
I mean, we did need a
But don't worry,
referee
I can
tonight.
make
I'll have to see if the search party has gotten back to me.
I think I can make the midgets. I can convince them to return.
The midgets will bring you back.
Yeah, exactly.
They'll come and take you, and they'll be like, "No, we done.
No, that's okay. We'll keep the other one.
We don't believe in ourselves anymore."
So I'm not worried about that.
Nope,
hey,
I'm not
they will
worried
return.
either. I'm like, they will.
Yeah.
We will see the alien spaceship come back, dropping you back off and then demanding a refund.
So the kids episode comedy show L.
Yes.
Maybe it was based off of me. Yeah. Alien life form.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All of you have a good night, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
I hate being
Take it easy.